Hi and welcome to our program. Today we are visiting the exhibition Transformations here at the Museum Uge13, a collaboration between the museum and the architecture school of Aarhus. Let's check it out. Hi Jakob.
Hi.
Thank you so much for showing us around. So
Pleasure.
you want to talk about your project, right?
Yes.
It's about the Elephant Man?
Yes. It's our semester project, which was relating the house for a protagonist, and as you said, we had the Elephant Man and the character John Merrick, which was the main role. I think that it's a rather fascinating way of taking the starting point in a character and then actually creating or trying to understand how can we create an atmosphere of home, or and to what extent can we do it as architects, or is it possible? And in this case we were working in relation to the house for the protagonist. We decided to use his psychological aspects just as his physical. So the Elephant Man it's a character which, as the film is based on a true story actually, and the story is in England during the Industrial Revolution, and the Elephant Man is his body is he's ill, and he has this fractures of his body, where the right side mainly is the one that is affected. Maybe you can see it a bit here. So the right hand and also the head is the bones are growing in a very strange way.
And was he born like this, or?
Yeah, yes, we suppose he was.
Okay, it was not a result of an accident or something like this.
No, I guess it was. He was born. Or I don't actually recall that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's not important.
But yeah, we sort of started with analyzing his how he sees himself and how he is seen, which are kind of sort of interesting way of seeing how do you perceive someone and how you are seen in the world, and he has a very strong spiritual values in a way, and we use this quote by Karl Blixen, who is it's a fantastic quote describing the way the real aristocracy and the real proletariat, which who are understanding the tragedy in life, whereas the all classes of bourgeoisie, they don't understand it. They see it as something sad, you could say, and that's very radical to understand. And then we have some quotes from the movie. And one of them also from the Elephant Man, or all of them from Elephant Man, but the first one, that people are frightened by what they don't understand. And it was kind of the way of trying to understand the character, like how, first what are his needs, how is he seen, but also how he sees himself, and what is it that will be good for him. And throughout the process, we were asked, like, do we want to help him with the building we're making, or do we want to exhibit him? And then we basically decided that we are not doing we're doing neither of this. we are accepting him as he is. So that's why we chose this sort of relation to the outside world as a metaphor almost. So he has this spiritual value of sort of also in the movie looking out to the church and having some activities where he sort of they are somehow important for him as a being.
Okay.
And then he's having some guests. That was also an important part, how he like the place, the house should be welcoming in a way, but also safe enough so that he's not surprised that someone just walks in.
Okay. Was he living alone?
Yes. In the movie, he's placed in the hospital, or where he's taken care of, and there are also some sides in the movie where there's like this good and this bad part. We didn't go so much into that. We were looking more into how he's relating to the outer world and how he's inside a room and what is the importance of light and what is the importance of a view and so on. So we actually further on analyzed some of the works of other architects which are here, and that was mostly with sort of trying to understand what is the importance of light, and also what is the importance of having a certain view, and a view from the inside doesn't always have to be a window, which is a framed view, but it can also be an opening to see without or to see within, and is this an opening for a light or is it an opening to see without? So we're looking into some of the projects that we also visited in October at our study trip with the class. One of them was the Carlos Carpa's Gipsothek for Canova's sculptures, which is this fantastic work of doing an exhibit, but of sculptures. But what we were looking into was how does the light comes at a certain point, and how is the relation of the light inside. And then you can also see these thin openings, and I don't know if you could say that that's a window. It's probably maybe where one wall doesn't meet the other wall, right? So it's not really an opening inside of a volume, but it's where two volumes not necessarily meet. And then here's another example from a German architect, Böhm.
That seems really interesting.
Which is more of a brutalistic way of working, and he's almost like sculpting the light in, or I don't know, well, not sculpting, but sort of engraving, or I don't know how to say it. So it's also a certain way of understanding light, and some material research for how, because the structure, like this was also a conflict throughout the project. Like we were working on we're supposed to work with a light structure, but then we understood the character as something heavy, or the space needs to be heavy. So we had this conflict of how do we make something light, which is actually heavy. But then there are some examples here from Peter Zumthor's pavilion he done for Serpentine, which is a very enclosed garden within a garden, and when you enter, you basically hit a wall, and you have to go around to meet the garden, which then opens.
So the goal is for you to hit the wall?
No, it's maybe to go around something to then introduce an element which is inside, and also it's a hidden garden. So it's also this kind of perception of introducing something as a path, not necessarily as sort of seeing it straight away. So there was also a kind of an aspect that we were looking in, and then also another way of how the light can come in. So this is this sort of four beam structure holding up an opening so that the light can come in there in the middle of the house.
So the opening is here.
Yes.
Is this a shower or like a bathtub?
No, it's in the middle of the house, so you can go around.
Ah, okay.
And that was also kind of a very important inspiration for our project. And the last thing is this plan drawing of Carlos Carpa, and this is also quite interesting. How do you form, or how do you begin to sort of understand some geometry in relation to a house? And he is basically basing the whole place in relation to the view and in relation to the hill. So he placed the house in the hill, and then he's making some cuts in, so that when you sit at a specific point, you always have the wall behind you, and then you can see out. So that was also quite of an important inspiration for our project.
And why are you focusing so much on the light part?
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason? Or?
Yes, we decided on two principles, which is the light and then the view.
Okay.
And then the view is representing the connection with the outer world, and the light is this spiritual relation to him. So that's mostly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it because he didn't leave the house much? Did he leave the house much? Was he enjoying mostly just watching out of the window, or?
I think it was a kind of a dialogue between feeling safe and not necessarily enjoying a view, but having a contact with the outer world. And then if he makes the decision, now I'm going out, then it's a decision he takes. So it was maybe to create a contact, and not necessarily for pleasure. And then the way we tried to work with light, that was this almost spiritual way of creating, like well, not. We also tried to distance it from that. It's not his relation to church. It's his own spiritual value. So that's also like to sort of not to exaggerate it in any way, but just perceiving him as he is. Yeah, that was mostly that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I think we can see our our proposal here, and I hope that some of those inspirations can be portrayed in this. But all of the classes or all of the students in the class, we worked at the same site, which is on top of the terrace at our new building of the architecture school. And we, as I said, we had this view and light, in a way the terrace is a very neutral area. It doesn't relate to another building in a close tension. It's mostly about sort of being above, having a view, and it also, I mean, it has a relation to what's happening around, but not as a tension. So in that sense, it's very open, but we needed something concrete to start on, and we perceived this view in relation to church, because that's also from the movie where he sits and looks without and sees these church towers. So we went on the terrace, and then we sort of found a point where we have two churches in an axis, and then we were moving so that we also create some kind of a tension. Like I think the point was somewhere there, and then we sort of said, okay, maybe something happens if the house is on the edge, or maybe we can get another view, or what's happening there, and also like how does it relate to the terrace? Is it at the edge, or is it on, or so? So this is the placement that we decided on, and it's basically these three churches, and I mean the first, okay, it's four, but the first one is from the outside, so that's when you approach the house, and then you have the two churches kind of cutting their view inside the house, and the third church, we needed some more elevation to see it, so we're extending for the first floor, where then you have the bedroom in relation to that church, which is the Church of Wolfrotkirche in Aarhus. And in relation to the house, we were making a lot of sketches and trying to understand how do we bring this view inside. Working with some volumes and so on. And then we decided on that. Okay, we take 3 volumes in the right angle in relation to the church, and then how do they interfere each other? How do they overlap? And then there's a space created inside it. So we have the first volume here, which is relating to the St. Lucaskirche.
So that's like the ground floor?
Yeah, it's the ground floor, but it's also like the volume that kind of relates to the view, and then we try to carve in. Then we have the other volume relating to Saint Clemens, and then the third, which is only for the bedroom, which relates to Wolfrotkirche. And here you can see it in plan. So you kind of this is the terrace, and then you step on this ramp, you walk up, and then you enter the house here.
Any specific reason why it's a ramp and not some stairs?
Yeah, it's also because it's going above the terrain. So it's a plateau.
Okay.
And then a stair, and a plateau, and a stair.
Okay.
And then you enter here, and you feel that you sort of enter a house, and we tried to visualize this view on the first one up there. So that's the situation of entering.
You photoshopped the chair here.
Yes,
and here?
the chair is in there. Yes. So this is kind of what we imagined. Okay, this is how you enter, and and it's very crazy house. I don't know how. But that's also what is allowed in this assignment, I suppose. That it's not a house for you or me. It's for him. So that's why it's this kind of at the edge craziness. But then we create this open space here, which is divided by level height and then these columns. So even though that it's perceived as a open space with no doors and no walls interfering, you still walk around, because here there's a step down, and you feel sort of that you interfere into a different zone, and that's the opening for the light.
Okay.
That's where the light cuts in, and here you can see it in section. So we were making a lot of models and trying to figure out how do we get the right light inside. This is one of the sketch models, actually. So this is not the result as it is now, but here we're trying to. We made this model so that one can look inside, and we shut off the lights, and then trying to understand how is the light if it's like this. This is 1 to 25. Then we also had a model 1 to 50, and that became more close to what it is, or how it sort of ended. And here you can see in this isometric view that we work with these volumes that, as I said, that they kind of interfere, and then on top of that we just place this kind of light machine in a way, so that the light is correct. So you have the volumes and then just placing something on top. And
What do you mean by light machine?
It's just this kind of structure which we draw so that the light is as we want it.
Okay.
So you can see that here's this opening here, so that the light is falling in. Then it's reflecting, and you're getting this kind of diffuse light inside. So the whole house has this diffuse light, and then these openings for the view. There at some point of the day you get the direct light, and the openings are here. So this is for one of the church openings, the other, and then we have the third one for the bedroom. Here's the view from the bedroom. So you can see the church in the horizon. Yeah.
Is everything wood? Most of the things, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, this is also what the discussion we had. Like, as it is right now, we discussed that it should be a wood plank and then something called identen, which is a kind of a paint applied on hessian, which is this hemp. Yeah, so that it looks heavy. And this is also the way of learning, because it's not, in a way, it's not so, I don't know, like it's very difficult to imitate. Like, okay, we're doing something light, but it's representing something heavy. And then after our presentation, we get a very good comment, like how do we move further with this? So it could be that maybe the chimney, which is here, the fireplace, maybe if we want that, because that's very heavy, maybe we should move it a little bit more so that it actually is at the edge of the terrace, and there is this vertical concrete wall which can indeed take the load, and then maybe you have some light functions attached to that.
Okay.
So that would be, if we would to work further with the project, I think that's what the direction would be, because right now it's all of it in wood, and then this heavy chimney in the middle, sort of dividing the space. But yeah, maybe it would be, but that's also like the way of process. Like we present the project, and then if we want to work further on it, then maybe we can make drawings further and to show that there's this heavy part and there's this light part, and so. Yeah, but that was pretty much the house for Elephant Man.
Really complex.
Yeah, there were a lot of thoughts in it, but yeah.
And that was because you mentioned that this is not the final model anymore.
No, this is not the final model. This is process sketch model. I think we made 3 versions of this, of how we want the top to be. And then we moved further. Then we made a model 1 to 50. And then we made a section model of in 1 to 33, which was the light, how the light falls in. So,
okay. Yeah. So that's kind of more accurate.
Yeah,
like
the drawings.
What you
yes, the drawings are there as we imagine it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
There's. Shall we take
the chair?
The chair?
We can.
Yes.
So this is also part of your project.
Yes. So this was actually earlier in the process, which was an assignment of creating a furniture, you could say, and as we were sort of focused on the character's personality or the psyche of one's, then here it was mostly about the body.
Okay.
So we.
So you kind of divided
the
two aspects.
But this is just our group. It wasn't for everyone. It's open. What is your starting point? Where do you take off with the project? And for this project, we had the Elephant Man, and we focused on the body, and how do we express that. So Elephant Man body is asymmetric, which is very rare. Like, we are symmetrical. Then maybe your maybe our right ear is a bit off than left, but in principle we are symmetric. And then Elephant Man is asymmetric, which is rather radical, and we tried to express it in that piece.
Yeah. Now that I know the story, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That was it for this program, but stay tuned for the next one. In the meantime, don't forget to check our Facebook page, BURT, for updates on schedules and programs. See you soon.